Shaun Murphy, also known as Mr. Motivation, is a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and educator dedicated to helping individuals break free from limitations and create a life of purpose. From his humble beginnings as the son of a single Caribbean mother to rising through challenges as an Army Staff Sergeant, Shaun's story is one of resilience and transformation. After facing financial hardships and homelessness, Shaun devised a personal strategic plan that turned his life around. He went on to earn a master's in education, inspire students as a college professor, and receive recognition from First Lady Michelle Obama for his work with veterans. Today, he leads Wake the Beast, a nonprofit recognized for its impact on equity and inclusion, offering courses, mentorships, and groundbreaking web series Cut the Stigma, which addresses mental health in the Black community. Through his book, Unbreakable Valor, Shaun shares his blueprint for overcoming challenges and building a successful life.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got with me today Shaun Murphy, Mr. Motivation. How you doing today, brother?
Peace, brother, peace. Listen, I am living the dream, flat out excited to be here with you. Actually, we are reconnecting. Good brother.
Yes. So just to give a little background, Shaun and I actually graduated high school together, same class, college bound in Boys and Girls High School. Man, that seems like a lifetime ago.
Oh, let's not spit out numbers, but yeah.
Yeah, man. So first and foremost, brother, gotta tell you, I picked up the book. I love the book. I got 4 pages of notes, man.
Woo!
Like I said, I went through it. I loved every minute of it.
Man, I appreciate that.
So before we kick anything off, before we
Yes.
do anything, go ahead. Tell the audience about yourself. Tell them who you are.
All right, good people. Listen, my government is Shaun Murphy. I go by Mr. Motivation. I am a Brooklyn dude by way of Barbados, Army vet. Actually, let me ground myself in like where I started, where I ended up. After leaving college bound, went to college, and ironically, had too much fun, dropped out. So I was a college dropout. Many years later, today I hold a master's in education, and I teach a course on how to be successful in college for first year experiences. So I was once someone who hated reading and writing. Now, as Corey mentioned, published author, bestseller journal. Actually, just won a book award, the Global Book Award for my book Unbreakable Valor. Someone who had no background in music, had an idea, had a vision, believed in himself, had delusional self-confidence. Now I record music, motivation music. So when I do my keynotes, it's like a keynote in a concert as I fuse the motivation music with my motivation and my spoken word and my presentation. I grew up fatherless. My dad was murdered when I was 6. Maneuvered through life with, my mom. Shouts out to my moms. But now I'm a dope dad, 2 kids, rock star dad. So, I share all that, and it's not to brag and boast, but a lot of us are in circumstances and situations, and we may feel like there's no way out. There's no getting better. Like, this is it. But I'm going to encourage you, good people listening and maybe viewing, there's always more, right? There's always more. It's your choice. There's more. Choose the more. Get curious. It takes time. You got to decide, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to change what's going on in my life. And I always say nothing changes if nothing changes. Now, I may sound like it was easy for me. It took me over 15 years to go from a dropout to college professor. And I encourage you, you can be experiencing some of the same wins in life, even after suffering from a setback. So I share that to empower you, to encourage you, to inspire you to be great, dream big, and chase those big, bodacious goals. Yes, sir.
Man, dropping nuggets right off the bat, man. I love it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So we have similar backgrounds, not 100%. Both grew up Brooklyn, New York, single parent household, but yet our paths are similar to a point. We both joined the military out of college. Out of high school, Uh, College dropout as well on my first go round. Then it took a while for me to see the light. I didn't read growing up. I don't even know how I made it through high school, man. I didn't even
You,
pick
we
up a
both.
book. So yeah, and after I read your book, I was like, I've known this dude for over 25 years, and we spoke in high school. We
Yep.
talked. We weren't buddy buddy, but
Yep.
we were friends.
For sure.
And I was like, how come I didn't know all of this?
Mm.
So let's jump into the book. Let's jump into the book
Let's
because
do it.
it was a side of you that I did not see
Mm-hmm.
when we were kids, and it had me yearning for more.
Mm.
So there's this one quote, and I want to use this quote to kick this off. You say, define your fears instead of your goals.
Mm.
Talk to me about that, brother.
Yeah. So I have a lot of virtual mentors, man, and one of my virtual mentors, you actually mentioned him before we was in the green room, Tim Ferriss, and he talked about because everywhere you go, you got a goal set. I'm a big fan of Nightingale, the goals program, but Tim Ferriss did something different. He talked about fear setting. And he's like, a lot of times fear is what paralyzes us. It keeps us from moving forward. And he said, if you said to yourself, you have this goal, you want to do this thing, but what's stopping you from moving forward? Identify that thing, and then say, okay, so what's the cost of inaction? You want to be fit, you want to be healthy, but you got to work out. So if you don't do it, what's it going to cost you? The body you want. You might have health problems in the future. So it may be worth it to, sidestep this fear and push forward. And that's the gist of it, right? So, I still goal set. I have my objectives, but I also identify, all right, why is it that I'm procrastinating on this thing? Because a lot of times I think procrastination is birthed from fear. I don't like to do this thing. I don't want to do this thing. I'm nervous. I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. And I remember reading from a book of Dr. Kennedy. And he talks about, just time management and protecting your time, and time's an irreplaceable asset. So for me, like, I can't just say tomorrow and label the thing if I could do it today, right? So I got comfortable being uncomfortable. So I embraced my fears. I'm like, this is the thing I don't like to do. I got to tackle. I got to lean in. I got to hit it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, high level where I was going with landing that plane in the book as it relates to fear setting and embracing that fear.
Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, another nugget there. You're in for a treat with this conversation. Go ahead, tell us about the book, Shaun.
So,
What prompted you to write this book? Where did your motivation come from?
yeah, I'll tell you this. Let me go back. So, two things. One, I've always, like, in my drive now, there's a book about my life or I remember reading Wayne Dyer, and he talked about quantum moments. There's these moments that happen in your life. When you look back, it's only a reflective thing. When you look back, you say to yourself, when I met Corey, he told me this, and that changed the trajectory of my life. And you're only seeing this in hindsight. And I went and I listed out all my quantum moments. So that's sitting in the drive, right? So parts of this book was sitting in the drive. And I was in Allentown. I got asked to come out and give a talk. And Ron James, he invited me out through my guy Dominique Jordan. Shouts out to Sir Dominique Jordan. And I gave the talk. Cool. I was middle school, high school. After we're having this discussion, over lunch, and Ron turns to me and say, "Hey, Murph, where's your book? You need your book. Your book is your business card. What are you doing?" And I paused, Corey, and I sat back. I said to myself, he has a point. And from that moment, I was on a full-out trajectory to get this book to market, right? So got back in the lab, start, and I had to think through, do I do self-publishing? Do I do go through a publisher? And I ended up going through 13th and Joan, and that's where the book got picked up. Now, the why for the book, right? More of the why. So I've taught over some years, middle school, high school, and now I'm at the college level. And I've found that a lot of my scholars, students, they lack clarity in their life. They lack confidence. They lack vision and direction for where they're going. They're like floating, like wandering generalities. No destination in sight, just moving without a purpose. And then I look at my veterans. I was one. I got out the military, staff sergeant promotable to broke and unemployed Shaun. You right? So you kind of lose your self-worth, your sense of identity, and you lack
Mm.
clarity and you lack vision, and because you're disconnected from your community. And it's like, what do you do? Like, what's next? And I see an opportunity to tell my story and hope that it becomes the blueprint for someone going through a similar challenge, similar struggle, similar setbacks, but they can now sidestep those things and go forth and do great things. So that's how we got to the why for putting this book out, right? I wanted to help people on a global scale. That was my vision. Like, how do I have a global impact? And it's not about fame and that celebrity. Say, nah, I know there's somebody in Japan, somebody in Africa, somebody in Australia and Europe that needs this sauce, but I got to have a medium, a vessel to do it. And that segues into like MisterMotivation, how that gave birth. I had to create a platform because I was doing it in the classroom, but I'm like, all right, 10, 15, 20 scholars, teachers, students getting this a semester, but how do we get to 2,000? How do we get to 20,000, right? And I'll pause there because I could go, Corey. So you tap
Mhm.
in now.
Yep, bro. Shaun, feel free. All day, we got time. You got
Yeah.
something to say, my people will listen. There are parts of this book where I see that we are riding the same path. Where our vision, our our direction is all going the same way.
Mm.
Uh, which brings me to the 5 M's. I have a platform that I've been working on for years, and like you, I this book is in me.
Mm.
This book is in me. I published a book before, but this I've been working on this for years,
Mm.
and I've just been trying to figure out how to tell it.
Mm.
So I'm almost there in the telling. I just got back off of a hiatus, and I sat down and I put pen to paper, and I penned out
Mm.
chapter one in the introduction. So I'm happy about that. Hopefully, more to come on it
Okay.
as we go. But the 5 M's. This is where you and I intersect.
Mm.
Go ahead and tell me about those 5 M's.
Yeah, well, the 5 M's, I always think back, as I was in my blue funk when I left the military, I transitioned out, and sure I had a plan. I always have a plan. And it just didn't play out how I had it planned. Um, in hindsight, I left the military prematurely. I didn't take ACAP in the transition serious. I just knew that my plan was going to be it.
Okay.
Well, when I look back and I say, well, how do I go? Because they said, well, how do you go from here to there? And I'm saying, you know what? This is how I did it, and I'll share this, right? In life, we all have, we got cell phones, and the cell phones all have apps, but the apps don't work without an operating system. So you talking Android, iOS. Well,
Mhm.
similarly to your lives, good people, you got to have an operating system. And for me, this the 5M formula for success is that operating system, and it's the 5M's: mindset, motivation, money management, and massive movement. And I'll tell you about them, and I'll share how they apply to me as I was going through this. Mindset, and that's when you got to have a creative mindset. And I had a victim mindset, and I left the military. I was blaming and complaining, blaming leadership. They ain't show me this, they ain't do that. Part of you has to take on that extreme ownership, right?
Mhm.
And I always say you can't build an empire with an employee mindset. No one hires you with the intentions to make you wealthy, let alone rich. So, you got to switch that mindset. You got to be ready to go next level. Motivation, like what is your why? What's your reasons? Because, hey, good people, anything you do, any goal you're pursuing, you're going to get tired. You're going to want to quit. You're going to be over it.com. But your why is going to keep you going, right? And I tell people every day is a blank canvas. Paint the life you want. Draw the life you want. You're the architect of your life. So that motivation, that you got to fuel that purpose. And I always tell this is an exercise I gave a lot of my students in college. Hey, text 5 people and say, hey, why are we friends? I picked this one up from one of my mentors. Shouts out to, what's my name? Simon Sinek. Why are we friends? And just wait. You call them and just pause. Let them figure it out. And I'll tell you a story for me. I text one of my guys because I do everything I tell my team to do. And I say, yo, L, man, I've been knowing you since 96. 96, why are we still friends? And Corey, he didn't bat an eye. He said, yo, S, listen, when we got to college, you had popularity like quicker than I. You had people around you, was always this, and that. But whenever I came around, you never switched up. You was always solid. You stayed you. You traveled the world, went to the military. You came, we always tapped in, like you consistent. And I was like, wow. Right? It's like, we don't often ask our friends that. We just together. It's like, but why? Because that takes work with them friendship. So I'm encourage you, pick 5 people, get them over the span of 2 to 10 to 20 years, and just say, hey, buddy, hey, why are we friends? Don't let them give you, you're a cool dude, that. Nah. Dig deep. Tell me why you rock with me. And see what you get. And you'll find, good people, if you take a step back, you'll find a common thread, and that can kind of ground you in your purpose and how you show up for people. Money. I know everybody chasing a bag, right? They chasing the bag. Well, I picked up a book along the way. It's called The Go-Giver, and it talks about just leading with giving, right? There's 6 laws of stratospheric success. I'll share with you the last one. You can look up the others. The last one is the law of receptivity. This is where you allow yourself to receive. So you can lead with giving. Don't worry about receiving. It's in the universe. It's coming back, right? And I'll tell you this, give anonymously to 10x what you're going to get back, right? But it's all about that purpose. Stop chasing money. Start chasing mastery. Start chasing your purpose, right? And the secret to success, if it's a secret, it's giving. Sounds easy. It's just us applying the knowledge, doing it, right? Management, man, this is powerful. Remember, you are the CEO of your life, right? Proximity is power. You got to protect your energy and your space. You got to be super intentional with who you allow next to you. I share this. I tell people, I build this called my SEAL Team 6. 6 people I need in my space to help me go next level, right? It's one. You got the doubter. This is the person that, because, we have big dreams. If you're a dreamer like me, like Corey, you got big dreams. You don't know how you're going to get there. You just got big dreams. Well, the doubter is going to identify the blind spots in your life. Because when we get them visions, we on go mode. But there's like blind spots. Like, did you think about this? Well, if you do that, this is going to happen. Did you have a plan for that? They help you see these blind spots. You got the instigator. This person keeps you fired up, y'all. You need them. You got the example. Who's doing what you want to do at a high level, right? Track their story down. What was their journey? Reverse engineer that. Clone it. Apply it to you. That's the example. You got the taskmaster. This person is your accountability partner. I say you want 3 or the same one doing it all for you. Check in daily. Did you work out? Did you read this morning? You hit the scripture. Okay. 7 days. How was your week? Did you hit your benchmarks? What was your setbacks? How can we avoid that? And then monthly, how was your month? Did we crush it? Did we win the week 4 times this month, right? So that's the accountability part. And the last 2, the cheerleader, good people, I can assure you the journey is going to be long and tedious. But you're going to need a cheerleader along the way because they love everything you push out. You could think it's double wood. They're going to be like, that's platinum plus. You need them because they're going to keep you encouraged to keep going and keep climbing that mountain. And lastly is the connector. This person gets you in the rooms you can't get in on your own. This person advocates for you when you're not even there, right? You need this person. So this is a small covert team that's going to help you establish whatever you want in life, help you establish that empire you're looking to build. And lastly is that massive movement. Man, this is beautiful because a lot of times we set these goals and these objectives and then, we start out on them and we're not seeing the wins. We're getting a lot of losses and we want to fall back. And what we do, we scale back on the target. But I'm encouraging you, don't shrink your goal, increase your action. 4 types of action. There's just showing up. You just there. There's retreating, starting, realizing this is hard, scaling back. There's average action. Majority of society just show up. And then lastly, it's massive action, where you just 10xing your efforts. And that's how you go next level. It's small habits, massive results. That's those atomic moves. You could tap into James Clear book, Atomic Habits, and that's actually a big one I like for yourself. This is one thing I often share with people. It's the 4 C's, right? When you got a new objective, a new goal you're trying to do, apply the 4 C's. You got to, 1, commence, get started. You got to commit. You can't be interested. You got to commit to this thing you want to do. You want to see change, right? You got to commit to being uncomfortable, right? And then you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. New habits, new routines. The new you is going to cost you the old you, all right? And lastly, complete whatever you started. Those are the 4 C's I share with you. And that, my friends, make up the operating system, the 5M formula for success.
Yes, man. I seriously, man, I just don't want to interrupt you. There are so many nuggets in what you're saying, and really, I believe everybody needs to read Unbreakable Valor.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, now let's get into this.
Yeah.
So, the question that I like to ask everybody when we kick this off is, what does success mean to you?
Well, success is this, in short, it's doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, right? And it's subjective. Everybody's going to have their own variation of that. For me, right, I look at now, I'm an example, right? My kids, they watching everything I'm doing. They like, Dad, how you do this? How you do that? I mean, I think about even, man, I've accomplished so much. And it's like, just seeing them see me say I'm going to do this thing and then do it. Oh, man, let me give you a story, right? So I'm MisterMotivation, motivational speaker. And I was like, how do I differentiate myself? There's a lot of speakers. Everybody could be a speaker. But I'm going to be different. And I was like, I used to listen to this guy, Adam Won't Lose. And he's like, dear hard work, I used to hate you. You made me better. But he had this, over some beats, right? Corey was like, oh, okay. And I listen to Adam Won't Lose all the time. And then one day I said, wait, you know what? I could do this. Had my Les Brown moment. And I called my guy, Pig. He was my producer. I said, yo, Pig, I think I want to do an album. He said, Murph, what you talking about? I said, listen to this dude. He listened. He said, oh, okay, this is all right. Yeah, you got the, the nuggets, the gems. We could do this. I got the beats. I said, bet, what's next? He said, start writing. So, Corey, my vision, I said, I'm going down this journey. I don't know nothing about this, but I want to, as I said before, have a global impact. How do I impact? Remember, this universe is about, what'd you leave back? What's the legacy? Who'd you help? How many people did you help? Right? So I was grounded in that. And then 2, I wanted to show my kids that to be successful, you don't have to, have talent. It's focus and effort. And you can do anything. I said, Daddy don't know nothing about this lane, but I'm about to go in it, right? And then I go in it. We put the album together. And it's mostly spoken word with the beat. And then I did one rap, right? Man, that was hard. That's my joint, Murph Flow. If you go check out Mr. Mister Motivation Music on Spotify, Murph Flow is my first joint. And it's slow, BPMs low, but I said, damn, rapping this hard?
Now,
I couldn't believe it. You got to ride the beat, and Pig would be like, Murph, you're not a rapper. We gonna get through this though, but you're not a rapper, right? So
was that the first rhyme you wrote? The first rap that you wrote?
yeah, that was the first one. That's that's only rap on the album, Murph Flow.
So I did listen to part of something from the album. I can't remember what it was, but when it dropped, I did go out and I did listen to something.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and it's funny, uh, not funny, haha, just funny the way things turn out. The in high school, that was me. That was the path that I was headed on. You know,
Right.
they call it. Well, I don't even remember what they called me, but I know Miss Bowman would always say Corey and his singing ass.
Mm.
So I remember those days in social studies. Uh, you know, in the class and me and who was it? Etanosa
Mm.
just busting rhymes. He'd kick a beat and I'd flow over it.
Right.
So
Sheesh.
so when you dropped that album, I was like, man, the tables have turned. So,
Yo, life is funny, man.
yeah, life is hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
you mentioned a couple of books, and
Mm.
I cut you off. So I do want you to finish where you were going.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple of books. I don't want to forget this.
Mm.
What is the book that you find yourself recommending most when you're trying to encourage people?
That's a good question. Man, I can rattle some more. So, y'all ready? Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Um, The Four Agreements. Yep. The Four Agreements, Think and Grow Rich. The Four Agreements. The Go Giver. Uh, for my men, I recommend. Hold on, what's that one? Ways of the Superior Man. And what's my other one? Chris Voss. Hold on, I'm looking at the count at the bookshelf. Oh, what's the name of that Chris Voss one? Former FBI hostage negotiator. He teaches you how to get to yes. Hold up, let me do it. Hold on, let me see. Chris Voss. Never split the difference.
Ah,
Never split the difference. And I'll give you one more as a bonus. Go for no. Go for no. He talks about the 5 levels of failure. I think that's a good one for people. So yeah, those are ones that I usually often recommend.
yeah, all of those. I've read the majority of those. All of those are great reads. Split the Difference was a good read as well.
Oh
I
man,
took a lot of nuggets out of there.
yeah.
Uh, so you in your book you mentioned a couple of things that you've gone through.
Mhm.
Your bio says it as well, um, from money issues to homelessness, um, and many people would look at that as a huge failure.
Mm.
Is that let me phrase this right now. What did you take from that experience that helped you to move forward?
Mm. What did I take from the experiences to help me to move forward? Well, here's the thing. Life, Corey, is going to beat you the hell up. It's going to beat you down. It's
Every
going to throw
day.
jabs. When you duck, it's going to hit the uppercut. But, what happens is oftentimes we say, oh, why me? I can't catch a break. This thing and that thing and that thing. And remember, again, mindset. My mindset, I go, what is the empowering thing I'm supposed to learn from this? Because in my mind, there's a lesson in everything. And so there's that. And then I think about it, okay, where I'm supposed to be, in order for me to get there, life gotta haze me, right? Because what happens is I go through this thing, this struggle, this setback, and I'm learning and I'm growing, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting mentally tough, I'm getting the thicker skin, I'm able to, I've now adopted tactical empathy, and now when I get where I'm supposed to be, I can lead how I'm supposed to lead. Because if I got there without going through those things, I wouldn't be equipped to hold that seat. You feel me?
I
And and
do. I
and, and
do.
so when I go through and I look now, remember, it's almost like history. We sitting in history now. We not gonna recognize that till it's 10, 20 years from now. I'm like, damn, 20 years ago, X, Y, and Z. So when we going through the struggle, you just on the end of it like, oh, again, setback, I can't catch a break. When in reality, this is you getting sharpened. Your iron, your sword is getting sharpened. This is the test. You got to go through the test to get to have what? The testimony. Hello.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's
That's
how I've
sharpening the
looked at it.
saw.
Now, go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, that's sharpening the saw. That's helping you grow
Yeah,
to get you to the next level. All of
correct.
those things that we go through that knock us down
Mm-hmm.
just shows us that, hey, you still got something to learn.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't put on this earth knowing everything,
Right, right.
so we're not gonna try and endeavor and succeed at it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're gonna get knocked down, and we have to learn from it in order to move forward.
Check. Check.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
bro, your message is on point with my listeners, uh, with the people that I engage with.
Mm.
And I know it took some growth for you to get to where you are. It took a whole lot of growth for me to get to where I am. So if you had the chance to sit down and talk to 17, 18, oh hell, 15, 14-year old you, what messages would you give him
Mm.
in that stage of life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One, this might sound crazy to my friends back at that time, but I needed a new set of friends.
Hmm.
I remember, so I'm not saying I was always been the smartest guy in the room, but I just feel like just looking at where I'm at now, where I was then, I needed other people around me. One, financial literacy, right? I should have been in the game earlier. Man, late to the party. Um, so that's the thing. I think even being more open to trying new things. Like I wish I would have taking my education more seriously. I ain't know till after the fact that I could have did study abroad. I could have been in Paris somewhere. Learning about that life.
Yeah, I wish I would have known that too.
Yeah, right. So financial literacy, the people around me being more intentional with who's in my circle. Like I wish I knew about my SEAL Team 6 back then. And then I think 15, I was still that's high school time. So I mean I wasn't as confident as I grew to be. And I think even being more confident, because then I would ask more questions and got more curious. And that's one thing I'm going to leave with y'all, listeners and viewers. Be curious. Oh, man, ask questions. If I meet someone and they tell me, yeah, I was, refugee from here, and now, I'm a CEO of this. I'm hold up, time out. What happened in the middle?
Right?
How'd you get there? You know what I mean? Talk through it. Two things. One, what do people love? One, to talk about themselves. They love to talk about themselves. And two, to hear you talk about them. Right? So give
Right.
them the platform to do it. Give them the platform to do it. Have those probing questions. Have the follow-up clarifying questions. Hey, definitely tap into Chris Voss book, Never Split the Difference. Yeah. So if I had to sum it up again, financial literacy, my circle, the people around me, I would have had people that even push my thinking even more, expose me to new things. Because remember, when you get exposed to a concept, idea, experience, your mind cannot go back to its original state. It stays in that space of curiosity, wanting more. So get more of that, you know what I'm saying? And then lastly is just, like I said, getting curious. Yeah.
Bro, I love this conversation. I'm going to end it with a quote from Unbreakable Valor.
Mm.
This is where you say to your reader to repeat after you. It says, I fail, I grow, I win. Bro,
Yes.
Shaun Murphy, let our listeners know where they can find you.
Yeah, listen, I'm on the .com, www.mister, hyphen motivation.com. I'm on Instagram, my speaker coach page, MISTER motivation, but the O's are zero for zero excuses. And Mr. MISTER motivation on Spotify. And I also have, I do these gems, like a minute, 2-3 minute gems, School of the Hard Knocks, and then all my music stuff. You can find me. But definitely tap in. We'd love to hear from you. Corey, I appreciate you having me on your platform, good brother.
Yes, man. Hey, I know it's been a while since we last spoke, but let's keep in touch. If you got something going, bro, put me down.
Bills paid, locks laid, damn, you can't even tell me nothing. Fresh J's from Bay, he knows how to treat a lady. And I'm so proud of where I am, don't need to spin the block again.
This episode was produced and edited by me, Nala Monet. Our intro is A Piece of the Pie by Alana Jordan, and our outro is Diamond Energy by Thija Renee and Trauma Center. The host of Catching Up with Corey is the man himself, and you can find him anywhere at Corey L. Stokes. If you have a story and you want to share it, use the link in the bio or description. Let's celebrate success together.
And I deserve it all. I deserve all that.